is that? What's going on? Just listen for a minute and if you got the time. Who's making moves? News and interview. Don't snooze on my review. Just listen for a minute. It's up to you to choose. You got the time. Hello. This is Look Hughs Talking. And I am Hughs, your host. Take a journey with me. Take a listen. Your ears will thank you. And so will I.
Okay, so what's up happening, everybody? We've got Hughs down here. We finally, with technical difficulties, there's always technical difficulties. I think I'm going to change the name of the show to Technical Difficulties because of it. We've got Sade Serena on the line, and I've been really looking forward to talking to her because I've had her music playing not only on my show, but also in my own personal playlist. So it's nice to be able to sit down. Another amazing thing about today is the first time that I've been able to do a double show. So because I had an interview with a guy earlier in the UK, time zones make it real nice and perfect to be able to broadcast twice in a day. So we're going to go ahead and get started here. So how are you doing there, Sade?
Great, Hugh. Thanks for asking.
Okay, and now, so like I said, we just kind of roll through the questions, just kind of casual. So I hope you're comfortable. Hope you got something to drink, and we're just going to kind of hang out for a little bit if that's cool.
All right, let's go. Let's go here.
All right. So why don't you tell us exactly where you're from?
I'm originally from Miami, Florida.
Okay. You've been there your whole life?
Yeah, my whole life. I mean, back and forth, to Jamaica and New York, where my parents are from. But, I've been born and raised here in the sunny state of Miami, Florida.
Okay. Now, how often do you get back? A lot? Are you when you say going back and forth, so you're going back to visit family and things quite often?
Most definitely. I'm a family person, and having family all over, ultimately, in Jamaica and New York. I spent a lot of time traveling, but ultimately in Miami.
Okay. Now, with that, how do you feel, being Jamaican and being in Miami? What type of influence do you think that has on your music?
It has great influence. Being in Jamaica, you're exposed to, the soca, the one-drop reggae. You're exposed to so many, different sounds. And ultimately, just coming from, my parents, on my mother's side, actually, they introduced me to things like country. On my father's side, I was introduced to, R&B, the stylistics, the Temptations, so have you. I just kind of was influenced by everything I heard. I was always an artistic child, so, listening to different music from different cultures was always something that was a part of me. Same thing here in Miami, the Latins run Miami, so I'm very, very influenced by the Latin music, reggaeton, and, all that good stuff.
Okay, so what exactly led you to start singing professionally?
From I was a child, if anyone ever asked me, particularly in my mom's salon when she would force me to sing like the latest Whitney Houston song or Yolanda Adams, whatever she would try to embarrass me with.
Yolanda Adams, nice.
I would definitely get such a response where, when you see grown people kind of in awe over a child, like you kind of get that idea from childhood, like, well, maybe I'm doing something right. So, from singing in church, from singing in school, chorus classes, like really all my school years, drama class, I was always a singer, and, anyone who knows me has always known me for that particularly. I was never really an academic student, never really that good at math or science, but I was always really good at my artistic classes, history, English, and I knew I was always a musician and always an artist from the soul.
Okay. Now, you started off doing something, well, musically, but you were doing something completely different. As far as the type of music, what is it like reinventing yourself after being introduced to the industry and stuff? Well, let's start off. Why don't you tell them what you were doing when you first started, your first professional gig as a musician?
Wow, my very first professional gig as an artist was when I was touring with a local group from Miami called Pretty Ricky. I did a lot of touring with them for the Scream 5 tour, for the Late Night Special tour, and I background sang and danced for them. So that was my first, get into the industry. And of course, that kind of gave me the hunger and the drive to do it on my own. So I met with Uprize, my current label and manager, and he kind of really is the one who introduced me on a whole as a professional in the music industry, which started me off with my first EP, Germination, which went Billboard.
Okay, and congratulations on that, by the way. Yeah, that's a big feat to undertake. And yeah. Now, when I listen to your name, and I love your name, by the way, it just kind of encompasses, first of all, you're a beautiful woman, and so then you're taking Sade, who is another beauty, and then you're taking Serena, who's beauty, so it's like those two names together is just like amazing. So to me, that's like the ultimate package. So it's like the beautiful voice and the beautiful form. My last name is Griffin, so the king of the birds and king of the beasts is I kind of play around with that, and have for my life. Do you think that description fits you as far as being like the ultimate package, beautiful voice and beautiful form?
Oh man, that's really sweet and flattering actually. I would definitely like to think of myself as the total package. I try to definitely encompass what I think are my strong points. I don't have a big butt or big boobs. I'm not selling, the most sex, but I'm, the beauty that I grew up on, was the Whitney Houstons, the Aaliyahs, these people. So I like to think that what I thought was a total package coming up is what I'm bringing to the table now. Yeah.
Okay, well that's good. And now, as I was searching around social media, because I do a little bit of research, I try to find different questions and kind of touch on things that have been and kind of lead on. There are a lot of comparisons of you to Rihanna. How do you feel about that?
That's really flattering to me. I've been a great fan of Rihanna, like literally from the beginning. Before Good Girl went bad, I was a fan of Rihanna. SOS, and I've definitely followed her career, and she's definitely influenced me musically and as an artist. So when I do get that comparison, I think that's a great pat on the back for me. It lets me know I'm doing something right.
Yeah, right. Well, that's a great way to look at it, because there's so many other things to be compared to, and a successful artist. Hey, what
what better, right?
Right. You know what I mean? It's so many other things to compare to. There's people out here, So yeah, I always like to hear things like that. So, sometimes people, I think they get offended because they think that people are looking at them as that artist and stuff, and so it's. When you're trying to come out and kind of develop yourself, sometimes I think people kind of get bothered by that a little bit, and I can kind of see it. How did you get involved with Island Def Jam?
Well, I did my first single through digital distribution with them. So that's really how I made that connection with Def Jam.
Okay, that's cool. And now, with switching over to Uprize Music, how is the transition moving over? Is it the same? Are you just as happy? Well, of course you're happy. You're still working with them.
No. I was with Uprize during that time. Actually, he was the one who got my single distributed through them digitally. So I was always with Uprize.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a collaboration. So I get
yeah, more so that. Yeah, definitely.
I get it now. That makes a lot of sense then. Okay. Yeah, I misunderstood that, so I do apologize. I wanted to talk about Germination because I'm into names and I'm into concepts and I'm into using names that don't always, kind of using a pet name for something that kind of has a lot of other meaning, but it kind of sums up kind of what you're doing. And I like Germination because of what it represents. So now I wonder, do you consider yourself a seed?
I definitely do. Metaphorically, definitely, because this industry, I believe this industry, I believe it's important that you plant good seeds, whether it be good music, good relationships. Um, it all ties into you putting your seed out there and watching it grow and watching the people kind of, flock to what you've been doing. And really, that's what Germination was. It was kind of my introduction officially to the industry. Because as I said, I really didn't have a solo career until I was signed with Uprize. So Germination was definitely my baby to kind of put out music that I felt like I related to. Genre-wise, I had reggae, I had EDM. Well, no, I had more urban records and EDM records, R&B as well. And I felt like, that was kind of just something to throw out to the people to kind of see what they would bite on. And I think that kind of formulated the idea I got for my current EP coming out.
That's pretty cool. Now, with that same metaphor, what stage do you consider yourself at now? Do you still consider yourself a seed, or have you moved a little? Have you germinated?
I like that. Yeah, I mean, I think I got a few branches out now. I think I bloomed a few branches, and I'm blossoming definitely right now. Because it was 2 years ago. I've definitely had a lot of time to kind of, hone my craft and kind of figure out who I am and who I want to be longevity wise in this industry.
I like that. Makes a lot of sense. Okay, now let's talk about your relationship with John X.
Oh yeah, John FX. Yeah, man. Me and John FX worked on a lot of stuff. Actually, John FX is actually.
Oh, is it? I'm sorry. Is it John FX? I apologize.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, John FX, I collaborated with him also on the EP Germination, and he definitely infused some reggae and some Caribbean music into what we were trying to do, and he influenced me also to kind of move forward with my roots and incorporating different Caribbean flavors to what I would do moving forward, because staying true to myself was an important point that I brought up to him working on Germination. So he definitely the relationship between him and I is great.
It's cool. That's amazing. Yeah, you gotta love those relationships because those are the things that if you want to use the term cultivate. It seems that all of those terms kind of fit. You kind of got to plant the seed, and you kind of got to put time into it. And that relationship is that same. So it's nice because as an artist myself, one of the things, like I was talking to Jake Aldridge, this morning, and it's interesting because we kind of write the same way. You get a track, and I get a lot of music, and some tracks touch me and some don't. But when a track truly touches me, I have to stop and immediately start writing to it, like you immediately know. So it's like nice because when working with certain producers, it seems that almost everything that they send me is along those lines. So it's great to have somebody like that in your corner.
Exactly, most definitely.
Now you touched on and mentioned Billboard earlier. So tell us a little bit about how it feels to actually chart on Billboard, because most of us will never know that degree of success.
I think it was a wake-up call for me. It was like, listen, it's either you're going to go hard or go home. This is one of, your first accomplishments. I think it was just kind of surreal to me. And it was that situation where like, okay, I want to